I'm Kristen Oakes-White.
And I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. We're bringing you this week's show from the 2026 LSU AgCenter State Livestock Show held at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center in Gonzales. And this is a really big event. There are almost 5,700 animals registered to show this year.
And as you can probably tell by the noise, we're in the back arena where they're doing weigh-in for commercial heifers. However, there are competitions for everything from poultry to sheep to goats and swine. State Livestock Show leader Dwayne Nunez says this is truly a chance for young people to show the hard work and care they've put into their animals.
Our numbers have kind of been up and down over the past several years. Of course, everyone understands the devastation that happened in southwest Louisiana over the last few years with hurricanes, so our numbers in that part of the state have gone down. We had a lot of hogs that came from the southwest and the southern part of the state, so our hog numbers are down a little bit. This year we've seen an actual rise in our goat numbers. We had 1,000 head of goats both breeding and market this year. We stayed pretty consistent with the other species, so from a net perspective I think we're up a little bit number-wise this year. So we're pleased with that in light of all the devastation that happened at Southwest, and that's where our largest numbers had come from. But we're seeing more participation from the northern part of the state, which is wonderful. Programs are being rejuvenated in the northern part of the state and livestock because they've got some good support up there. So we're excited about the future.
As you heard, thousands of animals from rabbits to dairy cows will come through this building this week, but they spend most of their lives in fields and backyards all across Louisiana.
But what if you don't have the space for some of these animals? This week, TWILA's Carl Wiggers shows us how a former showman is helping the next generation enter the ring.
The ring is packed with students putting their best foot forward for showmanship. When Jesse Daigle steps onto the dirt, he's got his game face on. He's a junior from Franklin High School. He loves the competition and community at the State Livestock Show.
They're like your friends, they're like your buddies at the time. And when you come to the show, you get to see like where you stand, how much progress you made, and it's just a good like checkpoint.
Daigle says the show is fun, but this is also where the months of hard work pays off.
I think about a lot how much work you put into it. Hours and hours of work every day after school. And I get to come to these shows and I get to show it off in a way. I get to show up and say, hey, look at all this work that I'm putting into this.
Jesse is a junior at Franklin FFA, where his advisor, Nick Adams, has invested almost a decade into the students and their swine program at his school. Adams says the success of this program is the product of a lot of buy-in from the community and alumni.
I mean, we have multiple breeders who help us out throughout the years, who have given us pigs, given us discounts to help us out. Obviously we're a school system and we try to provide everything to our students to really at no cost to them, and most of our students are minorities who really don't have the expenses to do that. They don't have the extra budget in their family to go ahead and spend thousands of dollars on an animal or to travel here or there. And so we're really trying to fundraise a lot.
One of those partners is Logan Hebert. He owns Hebert Livestock and has been invested in the Franklin FFA program for many years.
He was looking for some pigs, and I was in Illinois in college at the time, getting an ag business degree. And I was in the hot spot for, being able to find pigs. And so I brought a trailer load down, and that was kind of the start of everything. And from there, it's just grown tremendously.
So I didn't grow up showing livestock. I didn't grow up around this. I didn't grow up in a barn like this and having these experiences like these kids get to have. And so I was kind of blinded to the entire thing, and just kind of learned as I went and took the advice of people who knew what they were doing. And so Logan's one of those people who knows what he's doing and wants to be invested in our kids.
The project of them showing pigs is just kind of translated into them being so responsible and just attention to detail and just good humans, but even more than good humans, so hard workers.
Daigle is a testament to that hard work, now with a part-time job at Hebert's barn. For Daigle, this project has taught him way more about life than simply how to feed a pig will. It's given him confidence in the path he wants to pursue beyond the ring.
Being involved in this has changed my whole life and the trajectory of it. I found my future career that I would love to pursue in this, and I found just myself in a way. I found a family, I found a support system, and I found just many memories to make and just to reflect more on. This whole program has made my high school years and has made them so much more enjoyable than going into high school I thought they would be.
Reporting in Gonzales, I'm Carl Wiggers for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Now, the Louisiana 4-H and FFA organizations can always use more volunteers like Logan. If you'd like to learn more about these groups and see how you can invest in the next generation, head over to our website at twilatv.org. As you just saw in Carl's story, and I can tell you from experience showing Angus cattle, there is a whole lot of work that goes into caring for a show animal.
But all of that hard work does pay off, whether it's with a ribbon or a life lesson. It's all celebrated by those who put this event together. Lining up for a photo with their banners may be the easiest thing these young people do at the 2026 LSU State Livestock Show. That's because of all the hard work that comes before the awards ceremony. Dwayne Nunez is the State Livestock and Horse Show Manager.
I mean, the kids are here tonight are here because all the responsibility, taking care of those animals, the work they've done throughout the year, learning to be good citizens, good sportsmanship. This is the top of the crop right here, the kids that have come to the top. All of the kids that participate in our program are outstanding, but these are the elite ones that we're going to recognize tonight.
Oh, I mean, it teaches so much soft skills, life skills, essential skills. Kids learn responsibility, confidence, to walk in a ring in front of 100 people, 200, 300 people. It teaches a kid the ability to overcome barriers.
Dr. Todd Tarifa is the Assistant Director of Youth Development, which oversees the 4-H and FFA programs in Louisiana. He's watched many of these young people show livestock throughout their school career.
These kids grow so much from when they're in 4th grade all the way to 12th grade. They cry when they finish. You know, the last time a senior's in a ring, they cry. You know, every single time we do showmanship and it's their last time in, it's an emotional experience for everybody involved.
Louisiana Farm Bureau President Richard Fontenot knows well the emotions and lessons learned here. He showed livestock as a young man, as did his son.
These livestock programs show accountability and responsibility to this young youth each and every day. It's a 365-day project in a lot of these instances, and that's dedication, that's hard work, that's perseverance, and those are rooted in their leadership skills that they take to the next level once they finish this youth development program with the LSU system.
And it's not just Fontenot passing the livestock show experience generation to generation.
I went to our parish livestock show this year. I saw 4 generations of 4-H'ers in the barn, from the great-great-grandparents all the way down. And it's really, really impactful when you can see that kind of family involvement, that community effort, and these young folks being instilled with the roots of agriculture as the baseline of their future. It just makes it exciting for agriculture.
Louisiana Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry Dr. Mike Strain says he chose to become a veterinarian because of his experiences at the State Livestock Show.
The original livestock shows, they were brought about to better the breeds of animals in Louisiana and in the United States. And you can tell, again, we have the best of the best, and it's through fun competition. But if you go into any room of agricultural leaders, the majority of leaders in that room have been through 4-H and or FFA or both. And so it is something that has a lifelong impact and becomes really a part, you know, of who these young people are. And you could see, you know, you see the passion in their eyes, and you can see, and you can look out and you will see the leaders of tomorrow here today.
The LSU AgCenter puts together a list of winners and posts that online. We'll share that with you on our website at twilatv.org.
There's cautious optimism coming out of Washington, D.C. as a new farm bill could be in the works. House Agriculture Chairman G.T. Thompson released his long-awaited farm bill text, but the road ahead could be bumpy. Ranking Member Angie Craig says the bill contains what she calls poison pills, making Democratic support unlikely. Meanwhile, the Make America Healthy Again movement is pushing back on a provision that would block states from requiring pesticide labels different from EPA guidance. Activists say they plan to lobby the Senate to remove the language. Ag groups are also split, especially over a proposal that would overturn California Proposition 12, the law requiring more space for certain livestock. Supporters say it would protect producers from a patchwork of state rules. Opponents argue it undercuts farmers who've already invested to meet those standards. Other provisions, including expanded farm credit programs and dairy incentives in SNAP, are drawing praise from several national ag organizations.
Louisiana's sugarcane industry remains vibrant, but as many of you already know, all is not great in farm country. According to the American Farm Bureau Federation, 315 farms filed for Chapter 12 bankruptcy in 2025. That's up 46% from 2024 and marks the second year in a row of increased filings. While bankruptcy filings are an indicator of weakness in the farm economy, they do not take into account farm closures, which is when farmers or ranchers exit the industry altogether. AFBF predicts a fourth straight year of expected declines in farm income, and that will continue to strain agriculture in 2026. Louisiana is known for being an energy-producing state, and a new grant from the National Science Foundation will help cement the state's reputation.
This week, TWILA's Neil Melanson shows agriculture stands to benefit as well.
Aviation and agriculture have a long history together. From seeding to spraying, planes have always had a role on the farm. Now a new grant from the National Science Foundation may give ag the opportunity to return the favor.
Basically, we're trying to produce fuels. So there's a lot of buzz about sustainable aviation fuel currently. Basically, this fuel can be supplanted into the existing aviation network, so airplane jet fuel. You can blend up to 50% given regulations. And the idea is that it can reduce tailpipe emissions from this fuel by about 80%. Again, the math is always complicated, but that's the consensus right now, is that's what it can achieve.
LSU has received a $7 million grant to study the use of ag products and byproducts for conversion into biofuels. Dr. Ingmar Schogel, one of the authors of the grant, says there are some technical challenges to overcome.
The objective in terms of technical goals is to use a lot more of the biomass to produce more fuel, and we use both conventional techniques like pyrolysis, basically just heating up biomass to extract oil from that, which is called bio-oil. And we then also want to use some modern approaches in electrocatalysis to enhance the conversion to transportation fuels.
Dr. Mandalika says one of the big areas of research will be using the sugarcane byproduct bagasse to convert into some of this fuel. Given Louisiana's industrial and agricultural base, it has the ingredients for economically viable conversion.
The idea is that you don't have to transport it long distances, and that's where you lose a lot of money when you're trying to build a biofuel facility. So the advantage of bagasse is that it's already there in one spot. And because of the unique way we run our sugarcane industry in the state, we don't use up all the bagasse.
Louisiana has a lot invested in green energy. In fact, we're the nation's leading producer of renewable diesel, which Dr. Mandalika says is different than biodiesel.
I kind of make the comparison that they're like Mark Wahlberg and Matt Damon. You know, they're kind of look and sound similar, but they're very different people. That's the difference between renewable diesel. They use the same type of feedstocks to be produced, oil, seed oils, waste cooking oils, fats, oils, and greases, but the production chemistry is very different.
Dr. Schogel says he sees immense benefit to agriculture long term.
The idea of this is really that farmers keep doing what they've been doing. They have this, they basically deliver their product the same way that have been doing things over decades, but what we're interested in is what's left behind. And we really want to provide some means for farmers to have some additional resources from this process.
Agriculture needs more markets for their crops, and the energy sector needs to meet higher demand. Hopefully the foundation being laid here at LSU could be the start of merging those two futures together. Reporting from the campus of LSU in Baton Rouge, I'm Neil Melanson.
Researchers estimate that 40% of the national ag waste could be captured and processed into biofuels through capture technology along the Mississippi River. Still to come on TWILA, preserving Louisiana's seafood industry, starting with genetics, another way the LSU AgCenter is helping out.
But first, when you don't want your birds to fly the coop, maybe you should just move it with them. This is a story 2 years in the making, so you don't want to miss it. Stay with us.
You're watching This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
If you ask anyone with chickens, they'll tell you two of their biggest challenges are predators and feeding. One farmer in St. Landry Parish found a simple solution to both: a mobile chicken coop.
He says with the innovation, a single person can tend to 2,000 chickens. TWILA's Josh Meeks went to Guidry Farms to see how it works.
Guidry Farms is the kind of place where cattle roam free, chickens are fat and happy, and pecans turn into something a little bit sweeter. Mark and Connie Guidry have been building a business rooted in stewardship, innovation, and a lot of hard work.
We have right at 250 acres. We raise cattle. We have about 40 head of cattle, or we've sold down some, so around 40. We're hopefully going to expand that, and then we have 700 chickens.
Their animals are just half the story. They're pretty well known for what they do with their pecans.
So the facility you see behind us is a barn, looks like a barn, but inside is a beautiful certified facility where we make all our products.
You can find Guidry Farms pecan oil, pecan butter, and candied pecans in local grocery stores across South Louisiana. Their customers can't get enough.
I think that they appreciate the fact that we're small and everything's handmade and hand poured.
But the one area that's not hands-on is their chicken operation. Thanks to this coop rolling through their fields at a snail's pace. Yes, it's full of chickens.
We keep them moving on pasture, so we designed a coop. Once we started with chickens, we didn't realize quite how much of a mess they were going to be. So we've since designed this coop, and there's no floor in it, so they have access to pasture. And we keep them contained.
Inside, the chickens have feed and water and a safe space to lay eggs. Under their feet is always fresh grass, which means lots of tasty bugs. Because the coop moves multiple times a day, the chickens can't scratch up all the grass. That's why Mark's pastures stay green. It's basically automatic rotational grazing for chickens.
We quickly figured out that fertilizer is 900 a ton and chicken feed is 700 a ton. And it produces a wonderful product. So the eggs are fresh. We collect daily and we deliver to town about 3 times a week.
The coop is powered by the sun and can run almost entirely on its own. Someone still has to collect the eggs. This kind of innovation convinced Mark and Connie's daughter Rebecca to come back to the farm to help out.
I left a private law practice about 1.5 years ago to come help with family businesses, one of which is the farm.
She grew up around animals, and their farm's practice of being organic, sustainable, and innovative was very appealing to her. She's been using that law degree to good use here on the farm.
Whenever Dad was talking about getting the grass-fed, grass-finished beef going, I helped get the certification, very familiar with paperwork, having been a lawyer, so help with the USDA certifications and all of that. It's been fun, super rewarding. I love food as well.
And that's the principle here at Guidry Farms. It's not about high tech for the sake of it. It's about working with nature.
We're trying hard. The more I learn, if you just let nature have its way, things kind of get in alignment. So it's worked well. The different manures from the cattle and the chickens, our pastures are beautiful.
And for Mark, this is just the beginning.
I hope to have 2,000 birds and then have one person be able to maintain all that. So that's the goal.
Reporting from Sunset for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Josh Meeks.
Guidry Farms eventually hopes to open to the public for tours, so stay tuned. The LSU AgCenter Aquatic Germplasm and Genetic Resources Center is a leading repository for aquatic genetic material.
The center can preserve genetic material that could potentially improve Louisiana's large seafood and aquaculture industry. AgCenter correspondent Craig Gautreaux has the story from the LSU campus.
Crawfish and shrimp are multi-million-dollar industries in Louisiana, and helping to preserve that legacy is the LSU AgCenter Aquatic Germplasm and Genetics Resource Center. The center is recognized for cutting-edge research in aquatic genetics.
Our goal is to provide global leadership to develop germplasm repositories and commercialize the genetic material of aquatic species.
The severe drought of 2023 cost Louisiana's crawfish industry more than $100 million during the 2024 crawfish season. The center preserves genetic material from crawfish that may lead to a more resilient crawfish.
And that might look like having crawfish that are disease resistant or temperature and drought tolerant. Maybe they produce more meat or they have thinner shells and easier to peel. So that's an example of how protected gene pools can be used in the future.
The center works on developing technology that can aid large-scale operations such as a hatchery produce organisms with desired genetic traits.
The type of work that you do in a research laboratory is not always directly applicable to industrialization and commercialization. There's some bridge that you need to gap, and we help people think about that bridge for oysters, for crawfish, for shrimp.
The center's expertise regarding genetic research is recognized globally.
We were invited by the United Nations to participate in the development and design of protocols that are going to be applied worldwide, and they have actually been released about a week ago.
The center is a collaborator with other major research centers, including the National Institute of Health and the U.S. Department of Agriculture's National Animal Germplasm Program. With the LSU Ag Center, this is Craig Gotra reporting.
Besides protecting genetic material from species that play a role in the food chain, some of these organisms can be beneficial in the medical field as well.
Still to come on TWILA, banners, buckles, and blue ribbons. We're going to recognize the incredible young people who got top honors at this year's State Livestock Show. Stay with us. Time now for this week's TWILA Boost, and since we're at the State Livestock Show, we wanted to honor this year's winners.
I thought you were going to let me show.
Oh, we could. You still can. Look, they're weighing in right now.
I have nothing to show. Take a look now at some of the kids who are this year's top achievers.
You know what I love about being here, Kristen, is that since you grew up in this world, showed Angus all over the country, you're there saying, oh, that one's good, that one's nice, that one's...
What? It never leaves you. It never leaves you. I've always got an eye for it. That's what Dad says. I have an eye for cows.
So you should go out and be a judge.
There are people that are far more experienced in that than I am. Thankfully, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we'll take you to Washington, D.C., where Louisiana young farmers and ranchers are speaking up for agriculture.
Until then, you can watch all our stories online at twilatv.org. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on TikTok and Instagram. You can find all of these stories and more on our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe. That way you know when we put something new out there. Turn on those notifications.
For all of us here at TWILA, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.